Hi everyone, my name is Brianna Beverly and I am here with IGMOB. So he is also known as the #1 designer in boxing. How did you get interested in this kind of business?
So the funny thing is, I grew up watching boxing with my family. It was some of the most happiest moments as a kid where um, we escaped obviously reality and what we were going through as kids, right? And my family, because obviously we grew up like in the hood
Yeah.
back in the days. And some of the best moments of my life were when we would get together and watch boxing.
Yeah.
So I was always a boxing fan, and then I started. It's funny because when I was a kid, I started watching El Maro Mero Paez and Macho Camacho, and what really stood out from them was their boxing outfits. And
Okay.
that's how I knew, like, I already knew I liked clothing because when I saw the way they were dressed, I just thought it was like self-expression, right? The way
Right.
that they express themselves with clothing. And it's funny because around the same time as when my uncle gave me my first VHS, Slippery and Wet, Bon Jovi,
Okay.
right? And when they gave me that, it was actually when I saw the cover of Bon Jovi, that's when I realized I really like clothes.
Nice. So it was kind of like it just happened out of nowhere. Was it like you went to school for it or any of that, right?
No, I didn't go to school for it. I just always, since I was a kid, I always knew I liked clothes.
Yeah.
And shout out Radical Acceptance. So yeah, I always knew I liked clothing. So when I did, I always knew I wanted to get into clothing. I just didn't know how. And I always
Yeah.
wanted to get into streetwear. I just didn't know how. And I noticed that boxing was an untouched market. And I was like, you know what? I think this is where I'm gonna showcase like a brand new style, bringing streetwear into boxing.
You've done it for, let's just say, Canelo, Ryan. How did that come about? Do you have a contract with some company where they kind of go for their outfits, or is it just reaching out?
So the funny thing is, I actually tried meeting Canelo in 2012 when he was gonna fight Floyd Mayweather.
Okay.
So I tried saying what's up to him, but the funny thing is, he actually ended up rejecting me, which I thought was kind of funny. And it kind of like, yeah, it kind of left like a sour taste in my mouth. I was like, you know what, that sucks. I really wanted to meet him and talk to him to a point where I think I only had like $50 to my name during this time, and I literally took, what was it? I took like one of those like little traveling buses to Las Vegas. It cost me like $20 to get there. And I didn't even stay for the fight because when I tried saying hello to him, he walked right by me. So he rejected me. So it was kind of funny years later when I got reached out by a good friend of mine who said, hey, Eddie Reynoso said that Canelo wants to meet you. He saw an outfit you did for Ryan, and now he's inviting you to his house. So it was funny because when I walked in there, one of his guys walked me in. He goes, have you ever met Canelo? And I was like, let me tell you a funny story back in 2012.
Right.
So that was kind of
You know
hilarious
what
when that
though? It's
happened.
like kind of in a way, it's like what do they say? They say rejection leads to redirection. So in
Yeah.
some case, it kind of was like that for you.
Was also rejected by Chepo because like when I tried saying hello to him too the same day, he also kind of brushed me off. So I thought it was hilarious because when I went there, Chepo welcomed me, and
Yeah.
then Canelo was like, "Hey," and I was just kind of like, "Dude, that's hilarious. These two dudes don't even know that." And I still have the picture from that day when I tried meeting him. I was like, I think it's funny that these guys don't even realize that I'm that same dude that they rejected like years ago, and now I'm being welcomed into the house. That was kind of wild.
You would just go to the fights and then kind of throw your name out there. Is that kind of how it went?
Funny thing is, my first boxing outfit was Mauricio Herrera when he was on the undercard of Canelo and Khan, right?
Okay.
And it was this one.
Wow.
It was an outfit that I did that lit up in 2016. So this is when he was the co-main event, and this was the very first boxing outfit. And the funny thing is, when I designed this, I thought it was really gonna like
Yeah.
wow everybody. And but this was my way of coming into the industry, showing people like, look, I'm here, and I'm gonna do some very different things.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come with the same styles or anything. I believe every fighter is his own personality, and that's why I came into the industry with this
Right.
outfit. And to be honest, that's kind of where people started noticing, like, hey, this guy's about to do some different things. And his wife reached out to me, Mauricio Herrera, and then after that, I can honestly say I started selling boxing outfits for very cheap because I was like hanging out in boxing gyms.
Uh-huh.
Nobody knew who I was. I was kind of like that dude, just kind of like quiet in the back, trying to say what's up,
Yeah.
trying to network, not really knowing who's who. And in the beginning, it was really hard because nobody wanted to work with me because nobody's heard of me. So I started printing out free T-shirts for everybody. I was like, you know what? I got a second job,
Mm-hmm.
and then I
Mm-hmm.
started working for a swap meet for free in Riverside. And then I was like, yo, can I learn how to print shirts on your machine? The guy's like, I can't pay you. I was like, that's fine. I'm like,
Yeah.
just as long as I know how to pay, I know how to work these machines. So the funny thing is, in the beginning, when I was going to gyms, I was offering my services for free. So a lot of the fighters that I worked with in the beginning, they all got free shirts. But
Wow.
the only catch was they had to say IGMOB on the shoulders. But it looked like my brand was everywhere because everybody was wearing it. Because everybody's like, dude, you got to call this guy. He makes free
Yeah.
shirts. So that's kind of how my name started spreading because you start seeing it everywhere, thinking that everybody was paying me for my work when in reality it was free. And I honestly, if you met me and you said, "Hey, JR, can I get 25 shirts?" I would give you 25 shirts because I was actually and I was designing some very complex shirts, and I was always working at the swap meet for free on the weekends. And
Yeah.
that's when, like I said, every weekend I would be designing shirts that I would be giving out for free during the week.
Wow. But you know what's crazy is that, sometimes people have to start from the bottom to like get their way up. It's kind of like a rags to riches saying. But
Yeah.
the fact that you were willing to just give it all out for free, but the good thing is you kind of, marketing wise, you were very smart because we know that a lot of the boxers are on TV and then you're watching them and you see your name. So it kind of gives you that exposure of like, oh, who's that? You know what I
Yeah, and
mean? But
that's how Joel Diaz. He was one of the first guys to put it on TV because I did free shirts for one of his fighters, and that
wow.
was the first time people were like, "Dude, I just saw IGMOB on TV," and I was like, and that was the first time, and I still have that picture too, from when that
Who was the
happened.
fighter?
It's his name is El Pez Martinez. It's one of his fighters, old school fighter, the funny thing is that this guy had like, I think he had like 25 losses and like 15 wins, but he beat an undefeated fighter in Indio at the casino over there. So he ended up beating a guy that was undefeated, and that's why it got a lot of attention. So I thought
Okay.
that was kind of wild that I was like, yo, it's no, that's crazy. He won his fight and he was wearing my logo, so it was like all over TV.
Exactly.
So to me, that was a huge moment, and especially because when I first started and I printed shirts, I thought they were the coolest shirts ever that said I got my own back.
Uh-huh.
And I was actually kicked out of a lot of malls and boxing events because I didn't have a license to sell my shirts. I was just selling them out of the back of my truck. And the thing is, like, I didn't really know I didn't know what it was like to start a business. So
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to get my name out there. And then I also was personal training people, like holding mitts and kind of like having them. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put them in I got my own back T-shirts, right?
Yeah.
Because I was like that. It became a brand. It became a brand now. So yeah, people that I would train, I would put them in IGMOB shirts. And I was really trying everything that I could to get this name out there,
Right.
just trying to get it out there, whether it was personal training, whether it was sitting in gyms, whether it was offering my services free. Because like my boxing outfits, when I first started, I was selling them for $150 top and bottom.
Oh
Because
wow. That's
I didn't know how much they were, I didn't know how much they were selling for. And also, I'm not gonna lie, everybody was price gouging me, even 150, even like $150. They were like, oh, it's too much. I'll give you
yeah.
$100 for a jacket and shorts. But to me, it was like it made my social media look like we were getting work and it was busy. So I was like, I don't mind
Yeah.
selling these outfits for that cheap in the beginning because it's getting me content.
Now, like realizing the industry and how it works, how much do you think the designs that are now being made cost? Around how much? Do you think like thousands of dollars per outfit or?
I honestly think I'm one of the most expensive ones right now,
Mhm.
and that's because I've sold them upwards of like 10 to 15,000. Like I've actually sold them upwards of 10 to 15,000. But there are a lot of guys. Okay, so what's happening right now is this, and this is the messed up part. There's a few designers that have retired from it because they're not making any money in the industry,
Right.
right? And the bad thing is that everybody wants stuff for free for shout outs, right?
Yeah.
They want stuff for free for shout outs. And there's a lot of guys that are coming in like trying to make a business out of it. So they're giving away all these outfits and in the end they're not making any money. Yes, they're getting social media posts, but a lot of these guys they're having to stop because they're like, yeah, bro, I'm giving away so many that I'm not making any
Right.
money. And they're selling them so cheap to try to make a quick buck, to try to pay a bill, that they're still not able to start a business out of it.
Right.
And the thing about me is that I like when I said I was giving away free t-shirts, I already feel like I already did my
Yeah.
duties. I already gave away so much. That's why now when they ask me, I'm like, you know what? I feel like I deserve to get paid now and the quality. And, like if you look at the clientele now that I have and the resume that I've built from working on movies, on shows, to now even people outside of boxing that are fans of boxing, ordering stuff. Like one of the craziest ones was Michael Bay, the movie director of Transformers.
Yeah.
And even he said, he goes, JR, I called a few people in boxing gyms and they all mentioned you. And that's how I knew, like, they're like, you know what? He's pricey, but his stuff just has so much
Right.
details. And and the thing is, like, I take a lot of pride and passion in stuff like this, right? Because there's
Yeah.
a lot of details that go in this kind of stuff. And I'm a huge fan of like putting in details and putting in work into these designs. That's why a lot of people say that's what separates you is the fact that you have a lot of
Yeah.
passion because I'm willing to go that extra mile for these guys. And that's why when I sit with the fighter, it's literally a 2 minute, like a 10-minute conversation about the colors and the
Yeah.
design and an hour and a half to 2 hour conversation about who they are. And
Right.
that's I make these so personalized to them. That's what separates me, and that's how I got the label like world's number one boxing designer, because that's how I got like Logan Paul, right? You see
Yeah,
him right here.
you've done like multiple YouTubers, a lot of boxers
Austin
is what you're kind of.
McBroom, all the guys, a lot of the guys from the FaZe Clan. I went viral on a few YouTube videos for being like the boxing designer that's literally
You're
everywhere.
right. Do you think you got that talent of being so creative when it comes to designing, especially like you said, the one that you did for one of the boxers where it lit up? Like, how did that come to be? What was going through your mind in that process?
The thing is, one of my friends, rest in peace, Mr. Knockout, he nicknamed me the future. He's like, "Hey, you're the future of boxing, man." So he kind of, when he gave me that before he passed, I kind of took on the name, and I've always been a big fan of like the movies like Tron, Back to the
Yeah,
Future. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create my own character. Like I'm gonna become this like future vibes kind of guy. So I wear like these big glasses. I like even like when I was at the last fight where Munguia fought, I was all in metallic silver. I kind of look, even when Ryan Garcia saw me, he's like, "JR, you look like an alien, bro, like an astronaut." And the thing is, like, that's kind of like some people do criticize, like, "Oh, why do you dress like that? It looks stupid, it looks goofy." But I'm like, this is who I am. Like,
right,
it's self-expression. That's why I tell these fighters, don't be afraid to self-express, because it's taking a look in your personality and who you are. Like,
right,
you don't want to blend in, you want to stand out. And that's
exactly.
kind of what I always encourage these fighters is, go crazy. Go crazy. Just think outside the box. Don't try to go with what's normal. Don't try to go with like what you're used to seeing out there. Let's try to see who you are. And then that's how I feel like one of the reasons why I feel like boxing's kind of been kind of like going down is
Yeah,
because a lot of these guys are afraid to show, who they really are. Right. And it's like
right,
that's why, like, even when Ashton Sylvie's like, you know what, JR, I really like the movie The Minions. So he came out as a minion, and that one went viral on Sports Center, the one
right.
that I did. You
Uh-huh.
see what I mean? And I'm like, this is what you guys need to do. If you like Pokemon, let me design you a Pokemon design. Like, if you like Dragon Ball Z, let's do stuff like that. So, in like that, you bring in that fan base also.
Exposure and content. Social media is so big. Just getting viral in seconds. People get viral and literally after posting a video. So to do certain things like that and to be kind of thinking outside of the box is probably the best thing you can do. Even if some people might say like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you wearing? Why are you wearing such a weird looking
Yeah.
fit?" Sometimes those fits go viral and that leads to more exposure, which leads to more opportunities, especially with big names
Exactly.
as
And then
well.
and then when I worked with Mark Castro, this is one of my favorite stories because he was like, Jared, what should I go in looking like? I'm fighting on the Canelo undercard.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to be televised, but I'm going to be fighting on the Canelo undercard. And I said, you know what? You kind of have like this space vibe, this like space cowboy vibes, because he wanted to walk in with like a Tejana hat. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, let me do this metallic gold and neon green like robe. So the crazy thing is, and I have the video on my Instagram
Mm-hmm.
where Eddie Hearn, Ellie Seckback asked Eddie Hearn, "Hey, why did you move him to the co-main event?" Right? He goes, he wasn't even supposed to be like on the TV card. He goes, because I saw his boxing outfit. You want to build a fan base where people know can relate, people like vibe with you, like, yo, you know what? I like your style, I like your vibe, and that's why that was a good example right there
Mm-hmm.
where I told Mark Castro, bro, let's go loud, let's be different. And look, he got moved up to co-main event, and that's never been done. You've never been moved up to a co-main event fight on the Canelo card because of a boxing outfit.
What is the one question that you ask them that kind of is like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I know what your vision is.
Honestly, I literally just say, what are the colors you're
Okay.
thinking? Like, what colors are you thinking? And the funny thing is, now a lot of these fighters, they tell me, you know what, JR? A lot of people tell me, do fighters design these outfits or do they give you a direction? I said, to be honest, I think 95% of my fighters just say, here's the colors, do whatever you want. And then just from that, that's all I need to know. And automatically my brain just starts working because this crazy thing that I do is that I watch a lot of videos on things that have nothing to do with art.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch a video on how they build toys. I'll watch a video on how on nature. I'll watch a video on colors,
Right.
and I'll watch a video on like how sculptures are done. So what happens is when I look at a fighter, I can already it's like a video game where you could change his outfit. I already see the outfit on the
Uh-huh.
guy. So when I see the outfit on you, I already know. Like Jaime Munguia, this last fight that I did,
Yeah.
right? I literally by sketching and also like moving, you literally move shapes and patterns in your head to a point where you could actually see what they look like, and then you're like, boom, that's gonna be fire. I already know what's gonna look like.
This is something that you could see yourself doing for the rest of your life.
Honestly, yes. And the funny thing is that this has really opened up the doors to so many people. Like I worked with my first billionaire, Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb. And literally I'm standing there at what was it, at Universal Horror Nights. I get a call, him, Michael Bay, Jeff Beecher, literally like me on the phone with these like people. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Universal.
Yeah, Universal Horror Nights. I'm literally there waiting for my donuts, right? And the funny thing is, during this moment, as I'm there, I get a call. Brian Chesky goes, "Hey, you're very well recommended. So from 1 to 10, I'm expecting 1,000 on this. I have this special event 4 days from now, and I need to look like Batman. My own version of Batman. That's it. I want abs. I want this." And I mean, he's just giving me the craziest details. He's like, "But I need it in 4 days in San Francisco for a big meeting." And I'm sitting there like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." But but I was so confident that but the whole time he was talking, I remember like it's literally like a book of fabrics in my head, and I'm like going through it. It goes, I'm like, I already got it. Boom, I already got the
Wow.
design. And then if you go on my Instagram, you could actually see the Batman design that I did. And he's like, JR, from 1 to 1,000, you just delivered 1 million. You see, so it's like
Yeah.
that's how you know like I really do pay attention to like everything that I see out there, right?
Hmm.
But no, yeah, it's been pretty. That one right there was probably one of the best success stories, and yeah, working with my first billionaire, like
Airbnb, that's like the most, I would have never imagined an Airbnb reaching out for a design. That's
I would have
honestly
imagined a
success
CEO of that, like he's the
of a
hundred and
big company. Yeah.
he's the 150th richest person in the world,
Yeah.
something like that. So to the fact that he called me, I was like, yo, you want a custom outfit? Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everybody in the world, who would be one person that you would want to collaborate with on a design? Like anybody in the world.
Honestly, I like designer wise, I think I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of designers out there,
Yeah.
right? And there's a lot of dudes that we'll talk about this other subject right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the only guy that I feel like actually puts in work. There's a lot of designers out there. I'm gonna be honest. They don't put any effort into it, and they steal ideas from others. That's why I've never really wanted to do fashion shows, just because unfortunately, they send people that work for their companies to see what's hot, and they kind of
Yeah.
just incorporate it, and boom, your idea
Right.
is already out there.
Right.
But I think one guy that I think I've always wanted to work with is Philip Plein,
Oh, wow.
because
Why
the
him?
thing is that he loves blingy stuff, and I'm a big fan also of blingy stuff. Things that are blingy. He's not afraid to experiment and kind of like incorporate different design like the elements, into his work, and all the drops that he does are just pretty wild. And he
Yeah.
goes, if you see his fashion shows, I mean, the dude brought he had an actual spaceship built, right?
For that.
Where yeah, for that, where it comes down, a robot comes out, walks out the runway model, and I was like, dude, you're going above and beyond. Like he's doing Mad Max style like runways. His are not boring, they're really exciting and really fun. And to be honest, I hope to see myself with that style of design one day, because I have a very interesting last name. It's Zinzun.
Yeah.
Zinzun. So I really automatically, that sounds like a fashion designer. So I'm like, you know what, I was meant for this. Like I
Yeah.
was meant to go in this direction.
No, for sure. That's great. That is a great way of doing it. I think bling is very popping and like eye catching and can get you a design. Seeing something with bling is just gonna automatically catch your eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not basic, it's not like super out of the world, but I mean it's something that will catch your eye. So doing things with bling is probably the best way to go for it. Would you ever do one with like, I don't know, Elon Musk? Imagine that, working with Elon Musk.
The funny thing is, I already designed him a short. I'm just waiting for that meeting.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
check this out. Actually, I haven't really shown this to anybody yet. Where the
So this is for
heck is it?
Elon Musk.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Nobody's seen this yet, but you'll see it right here. So he's actually going to be getting this.
Wow. Wow, guys, look at that. That's like a sneak peek. We could just got the exclusive.
Big time, yeah. So,
Oh my god, that's so cool. You even have the Tesla sign on it too.
yep,
That's
everything. And it's actually got a barcode on it that I'm one of the first people also that added barcodes on shorts. So if you are watching them in the fight, you can actually scan their barcodes.
so it'll automatically take you to
Their
your
Instagram, their social medias, anything like that. So I always tell fighters, look, put your barcodes on it. And I put barcodes in some of the shorts, and you can actually photograph them, and it goes to their social medias and all their handles and stuff like that. I'm telling you, I'm always trying to find ways for fighters to help promote them, because I know a lot of these guys, you know, they're like, wait, we don't really know how to get our names out there, how to promote ourselves.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing stories that I've heard. That's why Sony reached out to me and they asked me to help them write a documentary. And I've actually assisted in writing a few small documentaries for large companies like that, where there's so many inspiring stories that I feel like a lot of these fighters, if like their stories were out,
Yeah.
their fan bases would grow because you really get to know them on a more of a personal
Oh,
level.
for sure. I agree. Yeah, no, you're this. I mean, you're doing it. Elon Musk, I would have never. I don't know why I just had that to just say that the eagerness just to say that, and then you come out with that. I'm like, wait, pause.
Maybe it's all the talks about space and future and stuff like that. But yeah, that's honestly that's always been like one of my main goals is like him. And the cool thing is that yes, I'm literally just waiting for the call right now where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, it's right because obviously someone like him, there's certain people that you really have to wait for that phone call and you just have to fly out wherever they're at and that's like your like Manny Pacquiao when I had a private one-on-one with him like that was one of those I had to pick up and go and
Yeah,
I
you
had
were
a
like, I
private
gotta leave
one-on-one.
whatever's going on. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so there are people like that I've worked, and there's a few more that I'm working with that I can't really like reveal right now. But there's a
Yeah.
few other people that I have like outfits for. But I like to do this thing where I kind of disappear and kind of make it seem like I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean?
That's
But I'm really
that's probably
just
the best way because it's like, wait, what are you? What is he doing?
has he given up? Is he going through it? Is he stopping? No, I just like to
Exactly.
do that to kind of just like mess with people so they think like, wait, he's not doing anything. You know, it's dying out. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
I was gonna ask you, when you're doing a specific project, do you ever just like stop what you're doing, don't focus on like social media, and just focus on that one specific design that is getting like your attention?
Yeah, there's sometimes that I have to sit there and really erase and redraw, and I really have to just like focus 100% because
Yeah.
it's funny because there was a while back I bought an Xbox and I got really into Fortnite and I had to give it away because I was like, you know what, this is just taking away from my design part. There are a lot of times where I really just have to stay 100% in it, and I have to move my head around. And I've even gotten headaches, even when I ended up in the hospital after I designed this Joker
Uh-huh.
outfit. Even while I was in the hospital, I was still designing. I still continued it because I just like there's moments and I'm just like, no, I gotta get this
Yeah.
because like I can see it, but I gotta pull it out and I gotta put it on paper and I really gotta just bring that thing to life.
I was about to ask you that because I know we had mentioned you were in an accident.
Hmm.
What was that accident like, and what happened? You came out of it. Thankfully, you're good.
Hmm.
But what did that accident have like a lesson for you in a way, or was it just like an accident out of
No,
nowhere?
it was an accident that I saw coming. I was an addict, so a lot of people have read that on my story. Like I was an addict, and honestly, I already knew this was coming. So I was actually trying to be on my way out, basically trying to kill myself, right? So I was addicted to drugs and alcohol, which my overdose was February 17, 2011. So I've been sober since 2011. And when that happened, that's actually when the name IGMOB, I got my own back, the brand was born because I wanted to start a company that was about self-love, self-respect, self-motivation. Because sometimes I feel like we all rely on others to kind of push us instead of us pushing ourselves. So that's kind of where the name came out of. And then also the Spartan logo is just kind of like, I feel like the Spartan mentality is, die trying. And that's kind of what I was like, you know what? I want to write a brand new story about my life. And that overdosing, it was kind of deep because I actually saw like a movie of my life play while I was overdosing. And the trippy thing is that when you see that, you feel so many emotions at once to a point where when you wake up, it's kind of like you just snapped out of it. It
Yeah.
literally when the ambulance, came and they brought me back to life, like after that, it was really a big wake up call for me. It was kind of like, oh shit, like what the hell? I've been living my life just kind of like, like in childhood trauma. I've been living my life like, why me? Why aren't things going well for me? This, and that. Kind of like complaining and whining a lot,
Yeah.
not realizing that I was only making excuses to not try and kind of letting the world kind of dictate the direction that my life would go in rather than me grabbing the wheel. I was always sitting passenger seat.
Yeah.
So that's why after my overdose, it was a very big wake up call where I said, you know what? It's time that I wake up, snap out of it. And I know that this journey is not going to be easy, but I don't mind jumping on it and I accept all the obstacles that come my way. And even my teams even told me, hey, we've never seen you like flip. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy that you could take so much. And I think it's because I've learned to see the world through different eyes. And I've become a mentor and actually like kind of like a therapist to a lot of fighters too, where they call me after their loss or or after, you know, something didn't go the right way or personal life issues. And the funny thing is, that's why my way of giving back also, because obviously I thank God since, you know, he gave me another chance. I speak a lot at schools. So another thing is I try to give these kids, you know, different perspectives, different outlooks, and also show them how to be thankful and kind of see, the thing about me is I want to be a positive like role model for them.
Right.
I don't promote sex, I don't promote drugs, I don't promote any negativity. All I promote is literally looking at the world through different eyes. My parents came, you know, from Mexico, and my dad used to work in the fields of Orange County, and sometimes you feel like, oh, my dad came, you know, that's my destiny because that was my father's. So I guess I want to show kids like, you know, if you are the one that takes, you know, the bull by the horns, if you're the one that has control, like you can really pick the direction you want your life to go in. Just know that whether it's going to college or whether it's you being self-taught, it's still going to be a journey and it's not going to be easy.
Yep.
And that's kind of what I try to teach all these kids is how to stay in a positive mindset. Because look, I won't say names, but there are fighters out there that have made it that are miserable, miserable. And I tell them this is why they're miserable because they base their happiness on that. Once I get that, I'm going to be happy. Once I'm world champion, once I have the money, once I have the cars. But why is it that they feel more empty when they're there?
Yeah.
And I tell them it's because you're not happy now. You got to learn to wake up and be thankful, be happy now, because then everything that comes is just a bonus after that.
I agree. Well, I'm so glad that you're good. I feel like this is an amazing thing for you to just kind of see that as a lesson, and the lesson became a success in your life.
So I guess this journey has really opened up, you know, the opportunity to meet so many people along the way and kind of help them get through whatever it is that they're going through. Because like I said, I mean, I love what I do, and it's awesome the fact that it's opened up the industry for me in so many ways. In so many, I've gone in so many directions because of it. Like I've designed chef jackets for a chain of restaurants in Dubai. Like even Fluffy the comedian, you know, like I've designed stuff for him, you know, and I also designed like a lot of the stuff that he wears on stage right now. That small boy, he's a good friend of mine. And like, yeah, I've gotten a chance to work with so many different industries that boxing has really opened up the doors to a lot of things. That's why I'm looking forward to exploring like my own streetwear fashion brand because I feel like that's where I'm really going to make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Because even people that are like, hey, what are you doing in boxing? You should be in fashion. You know what I mean? Like you're the way you design is pretty wild. You got some pretty unique designs and, you know, unique way of using fabrics that even like one of Philip Plein's people was even looking at my work. And the fact that I have so many text messages from so many people in the industry, like Michael Bay called me a design genius, right? Like Fluffy Gabriel Iglesias, he wrote me this badass message about like basically how unique I am, and like all this stuff is just super motivating. Like it's like
Yeah.
all these people are really seeing the value and they're seeing how much work I put in to a point where yeah, I've been approached by even companies and investors, and they're like, hey, we want to be a part of this because we see that you're going in the right direction.
You only had what, $50 to your name, and now
Yeah.
it's like, wow, those $50 kind of turned into an amazing success story.
Just tell people like it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to invest in yourself, and you're literally going to have to put your life on hold and just kind of just stay focused, and everything will come. It's just literally just trying to find that balance. And obviously, it does get hard because you have to learn how to tackle different things. Like I got to a point where I was getting so much business, I was like, how the heck am I going to do it? I love it though. I love the struggle. It's molded me into who I am right now to a point where you know, it things could you know unexpected things could happen, but you just know how to like just keep going forward. The main things that I like doing is I tell everybody in the industry we got to help each other grow because if we don't help each other, that's why it becomes a lonely sport. Like you said, when you die, you don't take anything with you. And that's why I tell everybody the first time I died, I realized like, how am I going to be remembered from all those things that I've done, right? From all the bad things that I've done, for all the trouble that I caused, from like, you know, looking at prison time from, you know, because I was looking at 25 years in prison until I won my court case. That's what I'm saying. The story is pretty crazy, but like, that's why I'm like, now when I die, I want to know that I made sure that I helped as many people as I can. And I've put so many people right now in such a good position in their lives with connecting people. And I never expect anything in return. Like, I literally, I'm like, when they're like, oh, you know, you're the reason why I'm here. Like, I've even seen people succeed way more than surpass me, right? And I don't care because that's why I do it because I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to open up doors for them. I'm like, all that I ask is do the same thing. When they ask me like, how are you so creative and how are you able to like design shoes, design like I'm even like teaming up with Dr. Lawrence Rifkin, right? Beverly Hills doctor, and we're going to design a line of scrubs now, right? When they're like, hey, like, how are you able to do all this? I'm really, really careful with what I educate my mind with.
Right.
I watch videos on success. I watch videos on how to grow. I watch videos on the mind. I watch videos on, how to think outside the box, how to be more creative. I said, see, that's if you put your mind on that, then that's it. And surrounding myself with like-minded
Yeah.
individuals, you're gonna go in that direction. One day, I want you to look back at your life and be like, I'm proud, and I'm stoked that I got a chance to do all this. I'm proud of what I've become, and I'm proud of what I've done.
Yep.
Right, and it's something respectable, something that I can look back and say, hey, I did all that. And now all my work like this, right, it's up on walls, it's up in different places, right? And I love that, right? This is one of my favorite outfits. So what I did was I created one of the most complex designs, which is Apocalypse. If you look it up on YouTube, I got my own back, Apocalypse. Like, you could see this design and like the crazy details. So this design took 2 months to build. 2 months to build, right?
Two
Because
months.
because it's so complex, right? So complex. So I told everybody this. I was like, look, watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna design the most complex design that literally is gonna give me the biggest freaking headache. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna mix so many fabrics. It's gonna
Yeah.
have the craziest little details that the small details alone are like a Tim Burton movie where it takes 6 months to film 1 minute, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and do some of the craziest details, right? And I'm like, and watch this, right? Devin Haney wears an outfit by, I think it was Gallery Department, right?
Uh-huh.
All the guy did, and I saw it, was there was fabric on the floor. He's just splashing paint, right? And he wears it. Oh my God, Devin Haney wears this one of a kind outfit, one of a kind. I'm sitting there like,
Huh?
you got to be kidding me. I'm like, there was no creativity that went in that, right? And the funny thing is that I said, look, this is what I'm going to do. So I did the outfit, designed it, and even Ryan Garcia's mom saw it, and she goes, JR, that's a beautiful outfit. You should put Ryan in it and make a video. I said, no. And let me tell you why. Because if he wears it, they're going to give a shit about it. They're going to care about it. It's the best design ever, best design I've ever done, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on a fighter. And there was a fighter who, he's from San Diego. He has like 6 losses, like 3 wins. And I said, you're going to wear the Apocalypse design. And he goes, really? He goes, but that's a beautiful outfit. I said, yes, because I want to prove a point that because nobody of interest is wearing it, they're not going to care about the work. They're not going to care about the work. They're
Yeah.
not, it's just another design. But you know what the funny thing is? I designed that one for Logan Paul, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It literally was a no-brainer. No brainer. I literally just in 5 minutes, this is what, okay, Rocky inspired, boom, boom, boom. Goes viral.
Yeah.
I'm on YouTube.
It
I'm
did.
everywhere. Oh my God. I got my own back. The designer to the stars designs this amazing silk like boxing. I'm like, I used the cheapest fabrics ever, which is satin, to create this. And now that's one of a kind, but yet this complex piece of art right here, right? This
Yeah.
complex piece of art is not one of a kind. And that's kind of like now what's kind of been frustrating with me. And honestly, like
Yeah.
some of my mentors even told me, like, dude, don't get frustrated because I hate seeing like a Dior outfit that goes viral. Like
Yeah.
I remember they even criticized one of Ryan's that looked like a lab coat. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
One of the white ones that he wore from Dolce. And people are like, wait a minute. So, and obviously I don't take it to heart. Like Ryan, I've done like 17 outfits for him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I've done a lot. I've only haven't done like 3 of them for him. And that's with these big brands like Amiri, Dolce & Gabbana, Giorgio Armani. And I just think it's funny that I'm like, I've designed some of the most complex ones for him, even an Adidas outfit. But yet the ones that go viral, right, are because of these brands. And it just cracks me up. And I'm like, that's kind of like the world we live in now.
Yeah.
Like I said, it really has to do with the name, the followers, and all that. And that's why I designed such a complex design
Yeah.
to show the world, like, it's crazy that you can beat your mind mentally to create something so beautiful, but just because you didn't put it on a star.
It's not gonna even go viral. Yeah. And that's also what I was about to say. If you were to put that outfit on Ryan, for example, it would blow up immediately.
Immediately.
For sure. 1000%. But you're right. It's all about just the person who's wearing it or the brand. That's all that matters.
I even went to the warehouses where they make a lot of this stuff. And like, yeah, we just changed the tags and we changed the logos. And I'm like, oh my God, that is hilarious. So that's when I realized, like, yeah, we really, it really is about the name. And that's why my company has grown a lot on referral business because
Yeah.
everybody's like, yo, not only is this guy cool as hell to work with, but he
Yeah.
listens. He really pays attention to detail. And I even go, I'm not going to lie, sometimes I put more details in than what they pay for because I'm like, you know what? This thing would look way more badass if I had this. And then I make them way more interesting. And that's why on Google, which has never been done, I was known as the world's #1
Yeah,
boxing designer. Because like,
and
hey,
to this day, I looked it up. You're still known as that.
yeah, because the thing is, I'm the only one that's put lights in them, that's put voice activated stuff, that's put literally like I even put on the Minions one eyes that moves when he was boxing, so the eyes were
Yeah.
moving. So I've done a lot of stuff to these outfits that I can honestly say have never been done before, from like magnetic removable hoodies to magnetic closures to sleeves that can be removed with magnets. Like I went ahead and did an outfit that's reversible. I did an amateur outfit for the kids, you know, that are reversible outfits. So there's a lot of things that we've done here that, you know, until later on, I think people are going to be like, yo, this guy
At it.
has been doing stuff that's never been
Yep.
done. And that's why my goal is, I know one of your questions you were going to ask me is like, what's like the next big thing for me is I feel like I've done a lot of things in boxing from the biggest stages to even having 15 fighters wear my outfit in one single card, right?
Yeah.
To even right now working with the Team Combat League, that was the biggest order I've ever gotten, 350 boxing outfits, right?
And
So
how
I
long does that have to take or have to be done by?
that I did that in 2 months, 350 boxing outfits.
In two
Hmm.
months?
But that was because like obviously, you know, we had a warehouse and a big team and
Yeah.
everybody was kind of like building. But yeah, that was probably some of the craziest times I've ever had designing all that and sleepless nights, all that fun stuff. So that was probably one of the craziest ones. But I think next, what I really want to do is I really want to be in the Hall of Fame. Like
Okay.
I want to be the first boxing designer. And it's funny because one day I said that as a comment on the Hall of Fame, and
Uh-huh.
one guy even wrote like, "Oh, who does this guy think he is?" Like trying to be a part of that. Like that's only for fighters, right? This and that. But in my head, I'm like, if you've seen the reactions that I've gotten from fighters calling me in the middle of the night, sending me pictures of them in their boxing outfits at the JR, I love it so much I'm gonna sleep in it. JR, I love it so much I'm gonna hang it in my house. JR, even a fighter once told me, he goes, you want to know why I choose you is because it could be my last moment in the ring, right? And I want to wear something that is done by you. And that to me is an honor. One guy, like, mad respect for him, right? He did a video, and this dude literally saved money for a whole year to buy one of my outfits. And I have dudes that have already made it price gouging me and asking me for discounts. And this guy, I was like, bro, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna give you a $5,000 design, and I'm gonna make it insane. I'm gonna make it crazy because the
Yep.
fact that I remember you and you saved your money for a year to buy an outfit, like that means the world to me. And it means that because he's like, JR, every time I put money in my savings, like I got excited because I knew that I was that much closer to getting an outfit designed by you. And that to me meant a lot. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
bro, I got to hook you up with something like 10 times crazier. I'm like, because the fact that you did that means a lot to me.
Yeah. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but he was telling me a story about how one of your designs you literally waited a whole year to actually be able to get it.
Yes, yeah, I actually did. I waited a whole year. And the crazy thing about it was I envisioned that outfit, the white and gold and the Puerto Rican flag,
Uh-huh.
and I envisioned it one way. And when I gave it to JR, he took it and made it so much better than what I could ever possibly think and everything. So that's why I always tell people, I was like, I always stick with him as my designer. And that I've had people wanting to sponsor me and put their stuff on his on the trunks. I said, absolutely not. You will not touch his.
Hmm.
You don't touch his outfit. I was like, it's a piece of art. I was like, you leave it how it is.
Wow. You hear that, JR? That's
And
good.
that's what I'm saying. Like, tell him about the video that you made, man. Like, he made a whole video just thanking me. And that was like the coolest shit ever. Nobody's ever done that.
Yeah, I was brought up and raised that you show gratitude in many ways. So I made a video basically saying like what JR, like I've had someone design outfits for me
Uh-huh.
before, but they rushed me. They didn't take their time. And there was one time where I was like, I was done with them because I wanted trunks done a certain way. And
Uh-huh.
then they didn't do it. They just rushed me and got it away. And I felt so like terrible. But then, so I made the video explain because when I called JR, mind you, I'm a nobody. Like, I'm still trying to make my name in boxing. But he sat down and took, I think we talked for like an hour, and he was talking when we get to know me as a person. We were talking about, just little struggles of life outside of
Yeah.
boxing. And he made me feel like, damn, he cares about what I want. And then he was constantly like, hey, how's this? Can I do this? This will look this way, but I think it's this way. So it was like, like he made me feel like I'm not just a number. I'm not anybody. Like he made me feel like a person. So I was like, I don't have a big following. I don't have nothing. So I was like, let me make a video. Just anyone that watches it knows like this is how I feel. Like thank you. Like when I first saw the outfit, like when he posted, like I cried. I genuinely like had a tear because I was like, he took his time. You could see, like, you would think, like, if you look at the outfit, you would think I was like a Canelo or someone. Like, he really took his time and invested. And I was like, man, this is a man who, like, cares. And I was like, I'm gonna remain loyal to him. He's the only one I care about, and I'll stick with. And like, that's why I made the video so anyone could see it. Like, yo, this man really, really cares about what he does, and not just what he does, but he cares about the people he works with.
Exactly.
So, I was like, I was starting to save. I was like, because I really, really want him to design for me. So I saved a whole year, and then I was like, hey, JR, I'm ready. I got the money. I got the outfit. Can we do it? And like I said, he made magic happen.
Do you have the outfit with you?
Absolutely.
I want to see.
Oh, you still have that?
Yes, I keep every outfit you made for me. I do not get rid of
When
them.
was this? What year was this?
Damn, when was it? Years ago, huh?
Yes, this was 2019, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think. I could be wrong, but
I think it was around there.
This is my...
Wow. That's really dope.
Yeah, that's the jacket. And then...
Yeah, the skirt.
Wow.
I remember the skirt with the white perforated fabric that I told you would look clean.
Yes.
How long did it take you to make that?
This took I think a couple weeks, week and a half. Hey, everything you said, that's like why I do what I do. Even when he said he got a tear to his, and like, when you got like emotional,
Yeah.
like that's why I do what I do, because it's like you put in that extra work to make people feel special like that. Like that's why, even people have said like, oh, I want to surpass you. I'm like, it's not about surpassing me, man. I'm like, it's just about you just giving it your all and just really knowing that you're in an industry where they need the support.
Sorry. How was your fight when you were wearing that?
That one, it was great. I felt great. No lie, I told JR.
But the lightweightness.
It was so lightweight. Like, normally you could tell when you're wearing boxing trunks. It was so lightweight. I was like, literally in the middle of the fight, I literally started looking down. I was like, yo, am I wearing shorts? I was like, I don't feel like I'm wearing shorts.
Where I designed the lightest boxing shorts, so my shorts don't weigh anything. And it's funny because when I first came in the industry, I asked a few people, like, hey, what makes a short expensive? They're like, the heavier it is, the more expensive it is. And in my head, I'm like, but why would you want to fight in something heavy? Wouldn't you want to fight in something light?
Yeah.
And like, that doesn't make sense. So then I was like, I want to create the opposite. I want to do the lightest boxing shorts. And like he said, a lot of fighters have told me the same thing that he just said. Like, I'll look down, like, am I even wearing anything? Because I don't even feel my shorts. And yeah, everything we do, even the way we put the sponsors on, everything, it's so different just because I know that I don't want to affect performance.
Yeah.
It's all about the fighter, and I want to make sure that the shorts like right up the legs, that they're able to move smoothly, etc. And not only that, but my tag is a very small little I got my own back tag that goes on the back, right? And there are companies that'll blast their logo huge. I just made that fighter lose the opportunity to put a sponsor there. And it's like, it's not about me. You'll know which ones are my outfits because the way they look. You'll be like that. And I'll have people that will call me and be like, yo, I knew that was your outfit. Automatically the style, like I knew that was yours. And I feel like that's why I don't need to be blasting my name so big.
I don't know if you heard our interview, but did you hear how he said that a lot of fighters have like a QR code in the back of their trunks?
No, I didn't hear that. No.
Yeah, so he has that.
So I do QR codes in some of the shorts like that people can scan them and go to your social media outlets. That's why they call me the future.
Yeah, no, that's facts, because he be doing things that you don't even think are possible.
The fact that I got the title already, I'm like, you know what? I feel like JR's already done. So I do have some cool big things in the works. Right now I am designing my own gym, which is pretty never before seen what I'm doing. Obviously, if you see what I'm doing with clothes, you can already imagine what I'm doing with the gym. You know what I mean? So it is going to be in Las Vegas. We are working on the layout and everything right now, and it's going to be pretty intense. Like, it's literally nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah. A vision.
I just want you to think about like art, right? I want you to think about art, and I want you to think of it. It hasn't even been seen in any of these boxing gyms that you've seen right now. And not only that, but there's a lot of detail going into it because it's going to have a podcast room, it's going to have a design studio, and it's going to have a boxing gym. Let me just tell you one detail. Glass split down the middle, left-hand side, boxing outfits being designed, right-hand side, people training. like you're gonna want to take pictures in there. You're gonna want to like take selfies. You're gonna want your trainer to record you just because that's how intense it's gonna look. Because I'm really gonna be bringing art and my style and the future like into a boxing gym. And I've seen like a lot of the gyms of what they've done in Tijuana, what they've done around the world. And I'm like, and this is how I knew that what I'm about to do, it hasn't been done yet. I mean, if I'm putting lights and robes, you could already imagine what I'm gonna do. I do want IGMOB to, like you said, I don't want it to just be a place where you just come and shop, right? I want you to feel like it's about the experience, and I want you to feel special. Because to me, I take my hat off to these guys because they're literally putting their life on the line for our entertainment. And that's why I applaud them. And because I'm not going to lie, there's been so many times that it's been emotional for me when I see them win or lose because I know why they fight. And I feel like people just want to see the knockout. People just want to see these guys hurt each other. But I'm like, you don't realize that someone's son, daughter, brother, parent. And that's why to me, it's more of like I have a bigger connection with them and I don't see it as a paycheck. And I feel like that's why a lot of designers fail because they come into the sport thinking it's a poor man's sport, yes, but they come in thinking, hey, I want to make money off of these guys. You know, one of the best stories that I heard was I saw a fighter who had 15 losses and 3 wins, right? And I saw him go in the ring, right? He puts his hands up. People are clapping, right? He goes in. Obviously, he was just a guy, you know, just to get beat up. And I saw his wife and kid there on the side, right? And after that, I was like, hey, can I talk to you for a sec? He goes, yeah. I was like, hey, bro, you got like 15, 20 losses. I'm like, why do you fight if you don't mind me asking? I'm like, and don't take this the wrong way, but why do you fight? And one of the things that I liked what he said was, because, you know, his wife and his son were right there, and obviously he's beat up, right? He got dropped. He got dropped in the first round. And he goes, JR, he goes, because in that moment when I'm walking in the ring and people are clapping for me, for that split moment, I feel special. And that to me was like, oh man, like that this is why I do what I do because the fact that he said, he goes, JR, he's like, I haven't really done anything in my life. I've never really been applauded. And when I see my son smile as I'm walking in the ring, he goes, that moment means the world to me because they're cheering for his dad. Right. And he's like, I know I'm going to lose, but at the same time, I'm a hero to him in that moment. And that to me is like, see, this is what I do. Why I do what I do because these stories like this that I hear of like, look at this man, he's never felt special his whole life. But yeah, in this moment, yes, he knows he's about to get his ass kicked. But the fact that people made him feel like he's worth something, that's why that's why I love this industry. Yeah. It's mainly because of all these stories and the people that I get to connect. See, something about Chris right here, Flamin' Hot Mitts, he will tell you because he was there. He saw me selling shirts outside of a fight event, and he actually bought one of my first shirts.
Really?
Yeah, while I was sitting outside of an event, yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Yo,
How are
it's
you?
your favorite man alive, the Flame. Let's go, baby.
Flame, tell him about when we first met.
Yeah, tell
Damn,
me how you guys first.
that was years ago. So anyway, I met IGMOB. I love that guy to death. He's one of my greatest guys, and you know, overall we motivate each other. He's a really good guy, and I appreciate him. I value him a lot. But I met him back in the day. I don't know. I'd have to say at least this is like 12 years ago, no more. Maybe like 13 years ago, maybe. He was selling T-shirts. I barely had any money, and he was selling a shirt that I wanted. And I remember he was selling like 2 for 15, maybe.
Yeah, two for 15. Yep.
I wanted to say thank you so much for coming and just kind of chit-chatting with me about your whole life. I think you talked a lot about great experiences that you have and motivational things that a lot of people probably would never have known. I even gave us some sneak peeks on some crazy projects. So thank you so much for that.
Stoked. It was awesome finally meeting you. So yeah, if you ever need anything, ever need some advice on boxing life, you know where to find me.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time.
Got you.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.